get to Tori, she has also stepped away from her time of being there for her restaurant, and now she wants to fulfill her desire to be a mother, and she's moving forward to adopt. And she's still searching for Mr. Right with good feet. I'm excited for Tori. I want to see how that works out for her. I really do. Nira is still a successive content creator. Successive. Nira is still a successful content creator. Her desire is to now move on to therapy. She can work on being more vulnerable. And her and Elaine's relationship are still a bit rocky. I bet. Seeing that, y'all not fully good. And then we got Chloe. Chloe and Nico have continued with building their relationship. Her and Jordan are still together. They're talking about planning a wedding and everything. Her son and Jordan have not met. I don't know what happened around that time of filming because I ain't seen no new photos of Chloe and Jordan. So I don't know what happened. This must have been recent as far as this must have been when they recently just wrapped up the season that her and Jordan were probably still together. But as far as present time, I'm not too sure. Ro is entering her soft girl era. She is still consulting for high-end restaurants. She ended her off again, on again relationship with her NBA player. And then we got Elena. It ended with Elena is still in a successful business. Her marriage with Josh is still rocky, and Josh has moved out. Thank God. I'm happy for that. All in all, I will give this season an A+. This was an amazing first season. I need a season 2. And I hope that more promotion, more marketing can be a thing for the near future because this was a really good show that really didn't get a lot of recognition, didn't get a lot of press. So I hope that everybody put it in their hearts to say we want a season 2 because this was a great show. You know, we got real, we got drama, and we got sisterhood. We got it all. That was very fulfilling, and I want more. So thank you, Heart and Hustle Houston, for giving us a great show. I hope to see you in the future. And that is it. That is all. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye. What's up, my loves? It's your girl, Diamond. And I'm back with my all new review of Heart and Hustle Houston. This is the season finale episode, and we are continuing with Elena and Josh. They're at their therapy session. We know we were left off a cliffhanger last week to wonder, what did Josh do? The big secret of what he did that put him in this situation in their marriage. As it turns out, the reason why they're in this space is because he pretty much gambled away all of Elena's money. He made bad business investments, and he didn't tell her about it. He said he wanted to figure it out on his own. And in Elena's confessional, she talked about how she trusted him with the finances, and in discovering that he was losing over hundreds of thousands of dollars, that he was going in and out of the stock market, and he was doing it for over a year before she found out. She wanted to buy something for her makeup studio, and he tells her they can't pull anything from their account to buy anything, which means all of the money was gone. And she had to sell her home. She pretty much had to rebuild her savings all over again. And I know that was a gut punch. I know that that was very heart-wrenching for her to hear and to deal with. And I bet that that definitely could have broken the trust more in the relationship. Like, not only did you cheat on me before we got married, now in the years of us being married, you squandered all of my hard-earned money. Yeah, I wouldn't trust him at all either. I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. I can understand now why she's moving the way that she's moving. So the producer asked her, why did it take her so long to say that? She said because she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed for staying in a marriage with a man who not only broke her heart before they got married, but also continued on and realized that he even broke her heart by taking all of her money away. And it's making her more stressed out in the confessional, because it's like, how did I deal with this? How did I stay in this situation? But while this is definitely heartbreaking for me to see Elena, I still feel like there's more. While financial debt, financial strain can definitely take a toll in the marriage. Because I wondered, I asked that. I was like, of all the possibilities as to why you're not in a good space with your husband, could it be that he cheated again? Could it be he make a bad investment? That's exactly what he did. He made bad business investments. So the therapist calls out Josh for making a solo decision, but using it as a guise of I'm doing it for us. I want us to be in a good space because he said he felt small. I guess with being with a woman whose career took off by the time she was a teenager and he didn't have nothing to bring to the table. But he wanted to make a decision that they were both making good amounts of money. But Elena tells the therapist they weren't in a bad place financially. And she was holding back as to why she feels like we shouldn't have been in this space because she was the breadwinner. She didn't want to say it because she didn't want to hurt his feelings, but tough cookie, Elena. This is the reason why you're here. You keep on protecting him when you should be expressing how this has made you feel. So because she was the breadwinner, Josh didn't like it. And now he don't like the breadwinner comment when it is the truth. Because when the show started, Elena tells us that both her and Josh came together to support her brand. I don't remember her telling us what Josh did before that. I don't know what his career was before he decided to come on full time to be a supportive of her brand. I know he's a photographer. I've seen his Instagram. So did he have his own photography business before he came on to be Elena's main photographer? I have no idea. But he then talks about there were other segments of the business that he was managing. So he wasn't just supporting a makeup brand. And then he mentioned how he was making sure that they stayed afloat when COVID happened. So he figured as a man, he needs to do his job by making sure that there's still money coming in and not only support a makeup brand. So he wanted to take away his little insecurity of shining through makeup, but he also wanted to shine through with making good business investments so he can feel like a man. Basically, Elena wasn't the one emasculating him because she was pretty much on par with how she was navigating her career. It was him. I don't know what other career opportunity that Josh had before he graduated high school or college. So he wanted to make himself more of the man, more of the star of the marriage, and he couldn't handle that Elena was the one who was the star. He couldn't handle that Elena was the one who had a career into becoming a celebrity makeup artist. So he couldn't stand that. And then for Elena, she's getting emotional by saying, you know how hard I worked in my career. So why would you want to do the one thing that's going to hurt me? And now he says it's been a heavy weight on her and it changed how she trusted him and it's only going to change moving forward. And she said it's giving good girl turn cold. But it's been giving good girl turn cold. He turned you cold when you couldn't trust him after he cheated on you. And now you really can't trust him because he took all your money. So he even said, listen, I love you and I want you even though you don't want me. I've loved you. I've loved since the beginning. And you can see Elena still loves him, but she cannot trust him again. And the shit that's been occurring in y'all marriage, there's no way she can fall in love with you all over again. Shoot, once we find out later, she don't love you anymore. And she said that's all she's ever wanted from him was accountability. And then he just starts crying how he lost everything. He has hurt his family. He's hurt his children and da-da-da. The whole crying thing really bugged me. Okay, like he starts boo-hooing crying. She pulls him to cry on her chest. I said, no, 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 no. Are you kidding me right now? Good night. No, there's no way he's the one boo-hooing crying and Elena's looking cold as hell. She needs to be the one boo-hooing crying because you were the one who did this to her. Why is she got to be the strong one still protecting you and lifting you up? No, ma'am. Elena, this is done. I'm serious. This is over. There's nothing to salvage. There's nothing to save. There is nothing. This man is just a simple-minded man. This man is like, what is left of this? There's nothing left. Moving on. So now we get Brina. She heads over to the vineyard to prepare for the girls' trip. And her goal is for everyone to have a good time, let their hair down. Chloe arrives first. She's excited for this trip. Nira arrives second. Now Nira comes in her ruffled white blouse and short set. And Brina gives her a compliment and says she looks adorable. I was wondering, what would Nira say after being called adorable? Because she had an issue of being called cute, right? Is she going to have a problem with Brina saying this? No. She accepted Brina's compliment with a smile and she hugged her. So You didn't find it an issue with Brina saying you look adorable, but you made it a whole problem with Tori saying you look cute. Interesting. No, no, no. That's just interesting. I wanted to make a note of that. Ro came in. She's wearing a very gorgeous shade of purple. And she said, I want to wear something else instead of black. I've been wearing black a lot lately. It feels like I'm looking down, but I'm not looking down. I'm looking happy. I want to feel happy, so I'm dressing happy. Elena arrives as well, and this is fresh off of her therapy session with Josh, and she needs this trip. You know, this is her first girls' trip, and she says she's never felt comfortable in her marriage to take a girls' trip or felt the reassurance in her marriage to take a girls' trip. In her confessional, she whispered, Is that control? The words were written on the screen, and it's like yes and no, Elena. Because your marriage could not have been so contrived and controlled that you had no type of independence, no type of way to have any fun for yourself with your friends. No. It's given you couldn't trust Josh to do anything without you being aware of it. You couldn't trust him to be by himself. You couldn't trust him with the finances. So you probably had provided the energy of control with not trusting Josh to do anything without you being aware of it. That's what I believe it is. And they were eating lunch and they were drinking wine. And Nira can tell that Elena's energy is off. You know, she's not as vibrant, she's not as energetic, but this is fresh off of her therapy session. So Nira wants to know what's going on with her. And they were just discussing the preparation about how the wine process goes. And Tori just can't get past the foot stomping process because she don't do feet. That's just something she just really don't do. Because she mentioned that she dated a guy that his toes looked like sunflower seeds. I was like, oh my God, the visual. And Ro had me hollering when she said, were they ranch flavored? I was like, when did you see his feet? How long did you date this man? And listen, I don't know. I'm so thankful I got a man that keeps his toes nice and trim. He keeps his fingernails nice and neat. If you don't keep up with your toe game, I'm good on you. Nope, I don't want to see corns. I don't want to see bunions. I don't no calluses. No, ma'am. Can't do it. Moving on. So then they had a little beanbag toss game. Then they were on the patio enjoying some chips and salsa. And Elena is aware that her energy is a bit down. And it's based on what she's been going through, but she doesn't want her energy to take away anybody else's good time. So we discussed Tori's party and that everybody had a good time. Both her and Chloe were talking about meeting her son and that it was nice to see him. And it was refreshing to see him absorb the information from meeting her friend Little Flip, and that he is going to navigate into the music field and he's going to do well. Chloe feels like a proud mom that her son was impressed by Tori and that she can introduce him to some people that can change his life. And then I forgot who asked Tori this question, but it was a question about why did she make the announcement to take a step back in the PR industry. She said it's a decision she's been thinking about for the last couple of years because 16 is a pivotal year. She said she had been thinking about it for almost 2 years of making her exit. And Brina comes in with the experience of transitioning into a new business because she was a hairstylist for 10 years. That was her bread and butter. And then when she moved into the spa industry, she was living next to nothing. She made it work. Okay. And she started off from an old broken down building to the building that she has now. So it's telling Tori, step out on faith. Okay. Because she's letting Tori know I didn't have it all by the time I got into the spa industry. I wasn't married. I didn't have this life that you see me have now. So if you really want to pursue another lane in your career, go ahead and pursue it. Keep that same passion that you've had before. Love the advice, love the support. And Chloe gives Ro a compliment about how beautiful she looks in that purple. And she does look beautiful. She is glowing and she's just recognizing that she's been evolving. She's not the same person she was last week nor 6 months ago. And they're just giving her compliments about how far she's come and how she's becoming a warm person to be around. She's not in survival mode all the time. She's letting her hair down, living outside of her comfort zone. I have seen the growth that Ro has had throughout this season, and it's a beautiful growth. So then they all get ready for dinner. Brina has set up a private chef to give them a 4-course meal. So we introduced to the chef. His name is Chef 7. And Chloe is flirting with that man. She said, I love me some Chef 7. He cute. Where he from? He said, Detroit. Do you work out? Yes, I do. I can tell that you do. Like, just being Chloe. Okay? Doing her. And I love it. All right? Now, Elena, she just had to say something. She's feeling some type of way about Chloe flirting with the chef. And she was like, what about your man, Jordan? What about him? I'm single. There's no ring on my finger. But Elena is questioning Chloe about how she and Jordan have developed a relationship that have gone to this point, but you guys aren't exclusive. That's weird. That's not weird. Not to her. That's how she operates. She said, listen, I am not the type to put my eggs in one basket. I've never done that in a relationship. And asking her, does Jordan know that? She said, he does know that. So I was with Chloe. Why was Elena attacking her for no reason? It's like, girl, let it go and go heal. Like, why are you questioning Chloe about how she's navigating her relationship if there's nothing to say? If they're not exclusive, if they are still opening the door to talk to other people, possibly see other people, that's their relationship, not yours. You cannot judge and criticize Chloe about how she's navigating her life because she is single. She can do what she want to do. She's not tied down to nobody. Because Elena, you are projecting on what you can't do when you have the ability to do that. You could be in the same boat as Chloe is, navigating all these types of men that are able to say, hey, how you doing? You want to go on a date? You should be where Chloe is right now. But instead, you want to judge and criticize her about how she's navigating her relationship. Good night, Elena. No. So Nira asked about Elena's therapy session with Josh. She said it was very heavy. Of course, she still wants to hold back about what happened, but they're telling her, no, talk about it. Get it off your chest. She said he took accountability on a couple of things. Excuse me. So what's a couple of things? Elena, see, there you go again. Being cryptic, not being clear, not being honest. You said that this was part of the main issue. There's more, right? Because if he only took accountability for a couple of things, I mean, there's more things he's done. So pretty much says he made bad business investments and that he's took away all of our money. Now, Tori can recognize that when you're in a business partnership, that is a lot. But when you're in a marriage that you're also in business with and what you do can affect our household, I will be mad too. Chloe is me. When she said, so what do you mean bad investments? Was it stock? Was he a gambler? Did he throw it all the way on a stripper? Like, what were the details? Elena was like, why do you want to know the details? Because I want to know. You can't just say he did this when I explain why he did this and I explain how he did this. So she said he was doing day trading. He was investing and he was trying to get it back. So it makes sense now. Chloe is me. So it's like, you don't wear your ring. You're sleeping in separate bedrooms. You're not having sex. You don't trust him. He took all your money. Girl, I get it. Girl, let it go. Let it all go. Okay? So Ro was like, now I get it. Man took all your money and you wonder if you can ever trust him again. She said, he knows I don't trust him. So Ro is telling her, would you get a divorce? Have that been something on your mind to do? She said, I'm not sure if I'm in that space yet. And then she says she's not in love with him, which was like, oh, wow. So now everybody was wondering, like, why are you still there? Why are you still sticking around if you're not in love with him? Girl, let that man go. Everybody can tell that they're not in a good space. Everybody can tell they have been distancing themselves from one another. So Nira tells Elena that we can see how this has weighed heavily on you. We can see how this has had a dark effect on you. And us being your friends, we want to be there for you, but we have a hard time kind of expressing how we feel about what you're going through because you're giving off this dark energy where we can become consumed by it. We're going to act on the energy you give off. Now, hearing that comment, I understood Munira's explanation completely. But Elena is taking offense to it because she don't like being referred to as a dark cloud. But she's telling you, you're not the dark cloud. What you're going through has had a dark effect on you. The situation you've been in has had a dark effect on you. And you're taking it in, you're dealing with it, but it's not working out. You're still stuck in it. That's what she's saying. That's what you're giving off. And everybody agreed with the fact that she has had a dark cloud around her. But it's not saying that Elena is the dark cloud. It's not saying Elena always brings this negative energy. But what you've been dealing with has affected your behavior around your friends. And when she asked everybody, that's what they told her. It's because you haven't been ready to talk about certain things. And Ro even said there have been times where it would be very hard to be around you. And I'd be wanting to tell you how I feel, but I don't, because you're married and I don't want it to be about your marriage. I want it to be about you. But the way I want to talk to you and the way I want to tell you, I'm afraid you're not going to accept it and you're going to bite my head off. So I don't want to mention it. And I think Brina asked her, do she want to fix it? And she was like, how am I supposed to fix it? I think Ro asked her, do you want to fix it or do you believe it's because you're supposed to fix it? And she pretty much answers to both. She wants to fix it and she wants to do it because she's supposed to. She's still stuck on the need to fix everything so everything could be all good because she's concerned about how the outside looks. She's concerned about how people are going to perceive her. And Elena is getting emotional because she's like, this is about my marriage. This is about what I've been going through. This is about me feeling the pain. And I don't want to hear my friend's opinion. Okay, well, then don't look for advice, Elena. Don't look for advice for your friends if you're not going to hear it out. If you're going to be upset that they're telling you the truth that you can't handle, then don't ask for advice. Keep everything you got going on between you and Josh. Don't ask for no outside opinions if you're not going to be able to handle the truth. Because if you don't trust him, what are you fighting for? You're not in love with him anymore. Then what are you fighting for? Chloe said it's hard to fall in love back with a man that have hurt you, that have betrayed your trust. Absolutely it is. So that part right there for me, Elena, was an eye-opener for me. You want advice from your friends, but you don't want the truth. You want yes men. You want them to tell you what you want to hear, but not be honest with you. Because being honest with you hurts you. Because it's something that you're having a hard time being honest with yourself. So moving on. It's a new day. They're in the kitchen. Elena realized that it got tense at the dinner, but she don't want to talk about it. She wants to talk about something else. Nira comes in. She makes a joke about who drank my apple juice, barbershop reference. And Tori made a joke. It's all nice to see them laugh about something that was so light. And Elena asks, what has been the most impactful part of this trip? Tori talks about being in a friendship is a really good thing. And when you're in a friendship, you recognize that your storm may not be my storm. But if I am going through a storm, lend me your umbrella. Kind of navigating this towards Elena with what she's been going through and how you want to be there for her. You want to see her go through this without being defeated. But I can't also deal with it at the same time as you. I can be there for you as much as I can, but I can't take over your situation. And with Elena feels some type of way about the dark cloud comment. Nira owned up with the dark cloud comment. And Elena said, I don't have a dark cloud. Chloe with the backup and said, yes, you do. You have had a dark cloud over you. So Nira was just basically explaining to Elena that I'm letting you know as a friend, please don't be on defense mode. And Elena was on defense mode. From the beginning to the end, she was on defense mode. About how we want to be there for you. We want to check in on you. But Elena wants to question Nira about how she hasn't checked in on her. Because that hasn't happened. But Ro was in the background saying, you don't let us in. You don't let us know what's going on. We have a hard time understanding about how we can be there for you if you don't talk to us. And then to say that Nira hasn't checked in on her throughout the entire process. She hasn't been there for her. She was like, are you for real right now? You mean tell me throughout your problems in your marriage, I haven't been there for you? She said, not all through with it. She said, not throughout all of it. So Nira talks about how we both been on opposite sides of the phone, hearing each other out about what we've been going through. We both have checked in. And then it was a mention that Elena's father had passed and Nira was there for her. But you're making it sound like she wasn't consistent. You're making it sound like she wasn't there for you. So in her confessional, Nira mentions that Elena is not telling the whole story. Because while she was going through her father passing as well as her marital issues, Nira was also going through multiple deaths in her family. And she felt like Elena was not there for her like she thought she would have been. And as I'm watching them go back and forth, I'm not hearing Elena mention any time that she was there for Nira. Nira can explain multiple instances where she was there for Elena, but Elena can come up with any recent times. So right there tells me, Elena, you be expecting for your friends to provide you with kid gloves, sugarcoat things for you so you don't feel bad about your situation, you don't feel hurt about your situation, you just want people to tell you what you want to hear. And this was a lot. Okay, seeing them going back and forth, they have the longest friendship, and it was tough to see. And Elena was very cold. Her demeanor has not always been welcoming. It's been negative energy. And again, Elena didn't like that it was negative. Well, you are negative. Elena has a hard time with accepting any kind of accountability when it comes to how she has came across, and she's not taking it in. She's still on defense mode. She's questioning everything that Nira is saying, having a problem about it, taking offense to it. And it's like, girl, if you stop cutting her off and you listen, Nira is explaining to her, I don't want to have to keep on dealing with the negative energy that I've been receiving. Of course, she's making about what she's been dealing with is extremely hurtful, but I wish my friends would have more empathy. But listen, Elena, when trying to give you empathy, you return with negativity. You return with being on defense mode. You return with snarky comments because you don't like what you're hearing. And again, had you paid attention, Nira is telling you what you've been dealing with has been a lot. But you dealing with it, you have been on the opposite side of projecting it onto everybody else instead of the person who have been doing it to you. You give everybody else this energy that you really should give to Josh when your friends are just trying to help you. And she's not hearing it. So she's hanging on to the dark comment, which is crazy because you're not the dark cloud. What you've been dealing with is a dark cloud and it's affecting you. That's what you're not hearing. But the fact that you expect for your friends to not use certain words that you're going to be sensitive to, then I don't know what type of friends you have at your disposal if they're not going to be real and honest with you. Lots of people don't like hearing certain words about themselves, but it's the truth. You can't handle the truth. Now, Brina come in and said, listen, we did not come for this. You guys are friends. It sounds to me you guys have high expectations towards one another. But I'm seeing Nira is extending herself to Elena, but Elena's not doing the same thing to Nira. And Nira says friendships are a two-way street. I have shown up for you. I don't think you've shown up for me. Of course, Elena's being defensive and said, I don't think I do that. And it's really bugging me and it's bugging Nira that she's cutting her off. Even Chloe's in the background telling Elena, stop cutting her off because she's witnessing what's happening right now. You're too busy trying to check Nira for the word that she used, but you're not hearing her out. And it is crazy that Nira is the one who's telling Elena you can't be upset over a word when Nira was upset over a word that wasn't even that deep. But right here, right now, this is the truth about Elena's character. All y'all got sensitivity over certain words that describes y'all and y'all can't take it. Now, trying to explain to her about what I'm telling you, please don't take offense to every single word that I'm saying. Please don't hang on to every single word that I'm saying. And Elena is like, okay, go ahead, but let's tone down your tone. Tone down her tone. Her tone has not elevated. Her tone was very much normal. It hasn't gone up. Because she's soft-spoken or because she's short doesn't mean she's getting hyped, Elena. And you're not taking the opportunity to hear her out. You're too busy over-talking. You're too busy trying to get the last word because you don't like what you're hearing. No. Saying how I don't like to hear my friends say that they don't want to call me every day. That's not a real friend. My friends will never say that. But that's not what she was telling you. You hear what you want to hear. And in her confessional, Brina said that Elena's going to do something that everything triggers her. Every word, every situation is going to trigger her. Well, that's Elena's situation that she needs to go ahead and come into terms with and figure out. So they go back and forth, and Nira said, Elena, you know my heart. You know that's not the type of person I am. And then Elena said, but I don't know your heart. She's like, you don't know my heart? No, I don't. Wow, really? And Nira calls out this is exactly what Elena does when she is feeling some type of way about something. She throws slugs, she goes below the belt, and she does that whole hurt people tactic. So it's recognized, Elena. You like to hurt people because you've been hurt. You don't like the dark cloud comment, so you want to tell your friend you don't believe she has a pure heart. You don't believe she's been a good friend. Interesting. So Nira walks away. She walks outside. Some time had passed, and they tell Elena, you need to talk to her. So when Nira's outside filming content, Elena's wondering, how did we get here? Because you didn't like your friends telling you the truth about how you've been behaving. That's how we got here. So when she walks up to Nira, the first thing she said is, I want you to know that I love you. And I want you to hear me out when I tell you I love you. You're like a sister to me. And Nira was like, but you don't love me. How can you tell me that you love me like a sister, but you don't know my heart? You don't know me to be a good friend. And Nira again tells us this is the thing she has recognized when it comes to Elena. When things are good, she acts differently. When things are bad, she says things out of pocket. If you say things out of pocket, that means you feel some type of way. And that's how you felt about me, then you have not been a good friend. And I have to agree. Because Elena has shown that side to her where she does look for ways of hurting other people because she's hurt. She did that to Chloe the first episode when she didn't like that Chloe said Josh isn't fine. She wants to make a comment that Chloe couldn't get a man like Josh, but looking at what he did, do anybody want a man like Josh? You came at Chloe once again at Brina's pool party questioning why she got involved with a younger man, and you just did it last night at dinner when you questioning her about flirting with another man. Wow, make it make sense. And here you go questioning Nira about the dark cloud comment. So yeah, Elena, I don't know what you got going on, but you definitely like to look for ways of hurting other people. You look for ways on how to put other people on the spot and have their situation be talked and ridiculed because you don't like your situation being talked and ridiculed. But if you got a lot going on, what are they supposed to say? So Elaine in her confessional is talking about as a friend, she wants her friends to be careful about using certain words and not make her feel unsafe. How are they supposed to do that, Elena? By not telling you the truth? By sugarcoating your decision of staying in a relationship you don't want to stay in because you're stuck in a situation you have a hard time getting out of? And it's not like you don't know what to do, you don't want to. So she wants to still correct Nia about the dark cloud comment and that she spews negativity. When you're going through a lot, Elena, you don't want to be told the truth. The first thing you do is spew negativity. And she wanted Nia to recognize that that wasn't right and that wasn't good. But how do you want her to be there for you? She said, I am there for you. I am needed when I am needed, and I show up for you in that moment. And she says that Nia was minimizing her pain. No, she wasn't. It's just something that you're not ready to accept and hear. And she's telling you about having a dark cloud because there's been a lot going on. You have a dark presence around you that a lot of people can recognize. And it's okay to have it because you're going through something. And we can see that it's changing you. But it's just a word, which is very funny coming from Nira, that it's just a word. But it's your reality. And she's also triggered by the words you use by saying you don't know her heart. So, Elena, I feel like you take it to another level because you want everybody to recognize you're going through the worst of the worst. You want everybody to treat you with kid gloves and be coddled and catered to and not be told the truth. But you want to be hurtful and mean to other people because you're being honest, right? You want to be honest to other people about how you feel about their situation, but you can't handle it when it's back on you. And they pretty much come to that conclusion about we put too much emphasis on the word and not the message. And that's Elena's problem. And I also think that's Nira's problem too. And they're talking about moving forward. And then all of a sudden, you see the cows come in. Like they must have walked that direction because they felt the energy between y'all. And they were like, what y'all got going on? Can y'all fix it, please? Y'all ruining our vibe. So the conversation was good, but it didn't make anything better. But they do love each other and they want to grow from there. So they all go back inside and they're making jokes about Tori and Elena snoring. And Brina feels like this is exactly what the trip was about, us having a good time and laughing. And Brina gives all the ladies individual bouquet with different messages. The first set of flowers was to Nira, and they were all white roses to represent peace because she's talking about fixing her relationship with her mother and her husband, and she's done that. Then we get a rainbow of flowers for Elena because her message was to own it. Own that you become a new person. Own that you are vibrant. Own that you're full of wonder. And I don't know if Brina did say it, but I'm saying it. Own the fact that you got some shit going on and that you need to figure out. She said this is a new beginning for her. This is her relearning herself. Is it though? Never mind. The next set was orange flowers for Tori. You know, her confidence is strong, but when she was talking about losing her father, there was a lack of confidence. But because she is gaining more confidence, her colors are vibrant, they're loud, and they're ready. The next set of bouquet of flowers was for Chloe. They were yellow, they were for forgiveness. Let go of everything that happened in the past. Forgive yourself about how you handled it because Chloe is having a hard time forgiving herself by how she handled her son when her husband passed because she can't change what happened, but she can help plan a better future for her son. Rose receives a bouquet of red flowers because it symbolizes love. She deserves love, she deserves self love, and she's evolving into loving herself. And she appreciates everything that Brina gave her. Now Tori decides to bestow that same amount of grace to Brina. You're the host. You put everything together. You deserve to hear how beautiful and how wonderful you are. So Tori gave the idea that everybody should take one flower from their bouquet and give it to Brina. You deserve upliftment. Don't ever believe you're not good enough. And we've seen that something that Brina has struggled before. She cried because Brina has a hard exterior, but she does have a heart of gold. You know what I'm saying? Surround yourself with love, and that's what Brina decides to do. And they all hug each other, and they give kudos to Brina. She has a discernment of bringing people together, and I love it. This is what real friendship is about. Being around people that you feel real love and you feel positive. Being around people who bring positivity to your life, okay? So we close out the season and we get the message about what the girls got coming up in the future. Brina is expanding her escape spot and launching a Pilates studio. Her son has now moved back in full time. I feel a way about that because I feel like there's still some things missing in that situation. How did you convince him to move back full time? Was it his decision? Did you strong arm him to do it? I need to know. Hopefully it's a season 2 so we can get to that. And her and Will's 5-acre ranch is up for sale and they're upgraded to a 50-acre ranch. My God, I can't see how that comes out. So, Tori